here. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't usually hold a microphone when I do presentations, so this will be fun. So like I did my introduction a little bit ago, but my name is Maci Anderson. I am the Community Health 520 Program Coordinator for Every Step. So you're going to hear a little bit more about my program, but it is funded by United Way, and I also receive my materials from the state initiative, so I basically work for 3 different organizations, kind of all wrapped together. But Every Step is where I'm passed out. So I cover Polk, Warren, and Dallas counties for this program, and it is a nationally recognized evidence-based obesity prevention program for children. Really focuses on nutrition education and physical activity. So like I said, nationally recognized, works on promoting healthy eating, active lifestyles, really originated from Maine with the Let's Go program. Now here in Iowa, it's called 520 Healthy Choices Counts. So there are other versions of this throughout the United States, but this is kind of the one that we focus on here. The main groups that I work with are parents. That's kind of my target audience that I really try to focus the most on. Working with schools, teachers, healthcare organizations, before and after school programs, daycares. Recently this year, since I started working in September, I've really tried to push beyond just our original staple avenues that we had gone through before. So I've been working with churches and food pantries. I just did some stuff with a vacation Bible school program. Yeah, so just some different avenues that we haven't really worked with before. So this is the parent guide presentation. I feel like with a lot of people that usually work in the community, your main people that you are working with are parents. So that's kind of why I stuck with this one. But kind of what I focus on when I'm talking to them is trying to be a good role model for their kids. So, making sure that they see them walking around with a reusable water bottle and just, getting that filled throughout the day, making sure that they are prioritizing their health first along with their kids. But getting fresh fruits and vegetables into the house, limiting the use of handheld devices, which I know is a struggle for a lot of parents. I struggle myself to not have my phone in my hand, but really trying to limit that screen time with their kids, limit it with themselves so that their kids don't constantly see that in their parents' hands, or they're constantly being pushed towards the TV or an iPad or something like that. And then participating in physical activities, so just kind of getting out and about more, planning community things where they can go out and, go to the petting zoo or go to the library, go to the park, things like that. So what does 520 stand for? The 5 stands for 5 or more fruits and vegetables. So this can be provided through a variety. So either fresh, canned, frozen, dried. Just trying to make sure that children are getting in those 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But encouraging them to try new foods, get out there and incorporate different fruits and vegetables into their meals, their snacks. So really just trying to get those into their diet. So if it's only 1 a day because their child doesn't like fruits or vegetables, or because they're kind of limited on resources, if they're just kind of starting somewhere, I think that's kind of a good place. Making healthy eating a fun activity. So I've really been doing a lot more research on this, but it really shows that a lot of picky eaters, if they are really struggling, they just are ignoring all of the food that you're giving them. If you put it in a low pressure setting where you're just kind of making it a fun way for them to introduce those foods, just starting at the grocery store. So have them go with you to the grocery store, have them pick out a fruit or vegetable that they want to try, and then bringing it home, showing them how to wash it, how to prepare it. If your children are old enough, they can get out their own little cutting board and their own safety knife and preparing that themselves. So that can really help bring up the interest. And then, like I said, keeping that pressure low for them to try a new fruit or vegetable really helps to get them excited about eating something new. And then always trying to have that as an example with your whole family. So if it's just a vegetable that you're pushing on your 2-year-old, but your 7-year-old isn't eating it, it's not really going to go very far. So if the whole family is enjoying Brussels sprouts, your 2-year-old's probably going to enjoy Brussels sprouts a little bit more. And then just trying to find recipes that, you know, you don't usually see fruits and vegetables in. So I always use cauliflower pizza because that's kind of a popular one that some parents have probably tried before. But if you throw that kind of stuff into your crust or into a smoothie, I make zucchini brownies and you can never tell. It is an unhealthy but healthy snack. So it kind of works 2 for 1. Because then they're getting their sweet, but then they're also getting a serving of vegetables in there. So I think it's for the daily recommendations. So I really refer parents to like the My Plate plan. So I'm trying to figure out like what is the serving size for your child. You know, if they're 12 to 23 months, their serving size for fruits is half a cup to a cup of fruits. So what that would look like would be, you know, an apple, small apple is about 1 cup of fruit. So, you know, if you cut that up real small, it kind of takes a while for, you know, a 12-month-old to get through a serving size of fruit. So just kind of splitting that up, you know, adding in different options, not always getting the same fruit every day, really kind of helps with that variety. But yeah, just trying to look at the amount of servings that they need and then what the exact size is for that cup of fruit. And then I threw this in there because it usually comes quite in handy with a lot of child care centers, and then moms and dads that just kind of want some ideas. But example lunch menus for the week, just kind of seeing an easy side to it. So, you know, Monday, a turkey roll up, you know, some whole wheat tortilla with some turkey, low fat cheddar cheese, hummus, and vegetables. You pair that with a fruit, and then, you know, some wheat pita chips and some water, and that's an easy lunch. So that could be an option for Monday. But just trying to keep it simple, you know, things that you have around the kitchen. You don't have to sit there and plan out, you know, a gourmet meal for your child or for them to take daycare, or to suggest to parents, you know, that they need to make, you know, a big salad every day for lunch. You know, just stuff that you have around the house, you know, wheat tortillas that you use for quesadillas the night before. You know, maybe you have some leftover peppers that you got from a community garden, things like that. So just trying to make it more accessible and make it seem more doable for each family to kind of come up with a healthier recipe, you know, for the week. The 2 hours or less of recreational screen time. This recreational screen time really means time that they are spending on their cell phones, their computers, their iPads, when it is not being utilized for school. So right now, most of the schools are out. So if they're on some type of computer or iPad, that is recreational screen time. So really trying to decrease this amount and, you know, get kids outside. You know, it's nice in summertime. Get them to do maybe some arts and crafts, go do an activity with some friends, go to a local park or a trail, you know, bring their bikes or their scooters, things like that. So just trying to reduce the amount of time that kids are on those devices, at least 2 hours or less, which seems like not very much, but that's really the recommended. For children under the age of 2, it's actually 0. So I tell parents that sometimes, I'm like, oh man, you know, I set my toddler in front of Little Mermaid and she's off, you know, for 30 to 45 minutes, and then, you know, we do that again later so she can get some things done around the house. So that's really supposed to be 0, and I know it's a struggle. And you know, if you're a single parent and you kind of range with this, you know, I'd say as long as you're trying to reduce that amount of screen time, that's kind of the important thing. So really not trying to scold parents, you know, if they need a little extra help here and there with their screen time, but you know, just trying to be more mindful of it, trying to make sure that that's not the only thing that their child is doing throughout the day. For children over the age of 2, so keeping it 2 hours or less, encouraging them to find alternative activities. Do you have a question?
I do, Maci. So, do you have any resources from child specialists who can recommend, okay, the water's already gone over the bridge, and I'm seeing now that my 3-year-old is used to parking themselves in front of the screen 4 or 5 hours a day. How do you titrate down from that? Do you have any resources for how to do that without the child, you know, just coming out down?
I'd say trying to get them, yeah, to titrate down off of the 3 to 4 hours. that one will be a work in progress for sure, but I definitely do have some resources. Healthy State Initiative is what houses all of the 520 information. So I can send all of that to Abigail and she can kind of forward it on to everybody. But yeah, I'd say start small, try to take out 30 minutes here, another 45 here. And I feel like if you have enough activities, which is kind of the important part, is coming up with the stuff to do with your, 3 and 4 year old, then you can kind of slowly wean them off of it. Like I feel like, my daughter gets my phone, she's 14 months old. She gets my phone, she wants to look at pictures or videos and just like put on things because she likes buttons. If I go and I trade it out with something else that she can do, or right now she's into sponges, like kitchen sponges, and she just likes to squish all the water out. So honestly, if I go get a sponge, plain one, and I just give it to her, like over a bucket of water, she'll play with that for like 45 minutes, and it's awesome. So, just trying to find little things like that. I follow different people on Instagram, which is social media. There's some online resources, which is also social media. So as a parent, maybe take that time, like 8 to 10 o'clock when your kids are asleep, find a list of ideas. I have these activity books too. I hand these out a lot, and these just kind of get you kick-started off the ground. If you have 0 ideas, you don't really know what to do with your kids, which probably goes into your guys' program too, and learning how to play with your kids, but just getting a few ideas, of how to do some of that. But yeah, it will be hard to get them off of that screen time for sure. And then this is just some other ways to kind of leave the screens behind. I tell parents that have older kids, start with chores. If they don't want to go outside, they don't want to play with their friends, they don't want to do anything, they just want to be on their iPad or they just want to play video games, and then start by giving them something to do, like go clean your room or go empty the dishwasher, bring the laundry upstairs, things like that. That's an alternative activity. It's also a physical activity, bringing the laundry up from the basement to the top story of your house, that's the workout. So, getting them to do things like that around the house, maybe go pick vegetables from the garden or, work on the garden, clean up the garage, things like that. Yeah.
Do you encourage or discourage rewarding with screen time? Because I see that a lot, like in my own grandkids, where if you do this, then you can have some screen time.
Yeah, so that is one of the areas we focus on trying to get parents away from screen time and trying to get them away from food as a reward too. So it's really trying to reward them with like an activity. So hey, maybe you do all of your chores for the week, or you've been doing really well on reducing your screen time. You haven't been playing video games. We're gonna go on a family trip to the zoo, or we're gonna go to Adventureland or a water park or something like that. So you could start off with like smaller rewards, like hey, we're gonna go and maybe you can pick out a new jump rope or a new hula hoop or something. Something that they've been wanting, even a new reusable water bottle. Some of my cousins, their kids have like 2 of those, but it gets them excited about drinking water. You add different things to it. So just different ways to incorporate rewarding and for doing things like that. But yeah, I try to minimize the screen time, or if you're like completely cutting screen time out, like cold turkey, then maybe that 2 hours is their reward for doing all of their stuff and not having that much screen time. So I think you can kind of play around with it, but there's also resources for how to sway them away from rewarding with screen time. 1 hour or more physical activity is what the 1 stands for. I feel like this one is kind of the easiest one for parents to get in, taking the family dog on a walk, going on a bike ride, working on the garden, going to the farmer's market and walking around, having a dance party. We do that a lot, but she is 14 months old, so she likes dance parties. But there's some older kids that like dance parties, but just some fun ways to kind of keep them active, other than just saying like, hey, go play in the backyard or something, but trying to give them some ideas and some activities and things to do. The the physical activity recommendations, so for ages 3 through 5, is just basically having them be active throughout the day. Really helps them with their growth and development. Adult caregivers should encourage children to play and to play with them. So, I feel like under the age of 3, they're running around all the time. You don't really have to worry about that. 3 to 5, just kind of be more constructive with the activity that they are working on for physical activity. And then ages 6 through 17, there's actually some recommendations for the types of activities that they should be doing. So focus on aerobic activity, muscle strengthening, bone strengthening for at least 60 minutes, which for a lot of, I'd say, teenage, maybe like 13 through 18, they're already active for at least 60 minutes most of the time. If they're involved in a sport or an activity like a band or show choir, they're getting in a lot of movement just doing that. But, really just encouraging children and parents just to get out more, get that 60 minutes in. And then the 0 stands for zero sugary drinks. So really encouraging more water and more milk. If they're still in that whole milk stage, that's fine too. But if low milk or low fat milk is an option for the older kids, then I would say kind of choose that too. Really sugar sweetened beverages, that's really been an increase in the past, I feel like 20 years. So trying to encourage parents to not offer juice with breakfast. I feel like that's kind of the first step. When you look at how much sugar is in orange juice and apple juice and grape juice, it's like 39 grams just in one serving. So it's quite a bit, really kind of displacement of the milk, increase in obesity and overweight, children, dental cavities, things like that, all come from the sugary sweetened beverages. You can always make it your own type of sugary sweetened beverage with natural sweeteners like fruit. So there was one mom that was like, my kid is not going to drink anything in the morning other than juice because he's been drinking juice every day for however long. So we just talked about maybe pureeing some fruits, slipping that in with some water. So it's more of a natural placement of fruits rather than just giving them, straight up orange juice or apple juice. Incorporating it into a fun little drink like that, if you just kind of have a pitcher of water on your table at night and you throw some blueberries and lemon leaves in there, kind of a fun way to introduce, more water to your kids rather than just saying, hey, did you drink your water for the day? So, things like that. Hydration tips, so finding a fun new way to drink water, add a crazy straw, add fruits and veggies, let them pick out their own reusable water bottle with their favorite character on it. The water bottle that shows how much you have to drink by a certain time, I feel like that's more recommended for adults. If you gave a little kid a big jug of water that they had to carry around, that's probably as much as their head weighs. So I put that one in there, but I always rethink that one, so I say that one out loud. And then, just being a good role model as a parent, as a healthcare provider, as a community resource. But, if you have your water bottle, kids see that, they're going to be like, oh, well, I kind of want to match so-and-so, and, I'm going to drink more water too. And it's also kind of a fun activity to figure out how much water you do need to drink for the day. So trying to get that calculated out, how much they weigh, their age, and how much water is actually recommended for them. And then this kind of just shows, how many grams of sugar is usually found in those types of drinks. I'd say if you're looking for resources about energy drinks or like a Powerade or a Gatorade, like a sports beverage, I do have some handouts on those as well that really kind of helps get kids off of drinking the Powerade and drinking the Gatorade after sport. Water is obviously the most top recommended after physical activity. So the Gatorade and the Powerade, that's just kind of a replacement with sugar and sodium. So if they're doing a really high intense exercise, like they're running a marathon or something like that, that's when you need the Powerade or the Gatorade to kind of replace some of those electrolytes and the sodium that you've lost through sweat. But if they're just doing a little soccer game, you really don't need a little baby bottle of Gatorade. It's just extra sugar and sodium. It'll give them a boost of energy because they need sugar, but And then this is kind of my house of resources. So we partner with a lot of different organizations, but like Iowa State Extension, Unity Point, they have a Healthy Kids program. Iowa Department of Health, now Health and Human Services, United Way. We just have a lot of resources of where you can go to get more information. Any other questions on anything?
I was just wondering, like right now with the cost of food that's so expensive, and for families that are using more of the food pantries, is this information shared like with the food pantries, like, you know, maybe they can't buy fresh fruit, but maybe the peach cups are, they can have that, drain them out, a little bit of, you know.
So that's kind of been my task that I've been working on, is getting the information out to food pantries. So I got those reusable grocery bags, and I have kind of sent out some mass emails to food pantries to see if they'd be interested in having those. And then I've been putting in like a little parent guide in there, and then it kind of links back to more resources. But if you are a good connection to any food pantries here in Dallas County, I would love to hear about it, because it's like pulling teeth to try to get free resources. It's like, this is free, it has information to help your family, you don't have to do anything for it. So yes, anything I can do to connect to more food pantries, that's fun.
Just piggyback on to